Welcome to Gold is Where You Find It, and today I'm in the Chattahoochee National Forest at the Anna Ruby Falls Recreation Area, and we're going to be making a video here for a public service to provide information on matters of public interest such as gold panning and visiting the falls and some of the things that we see along the way. So like that smash button and let's get to it. Usually commercial filming in the National Forest would require a permit. But we are here for multiple reasons that make that permit requirement invalid. One of which is we are communicating speech on controversial issues. We're providing a public service announcement by news gathering on public property. And we've also got some grievances with our government to redress. So all of those things are protected by the First Amendment, making the permit requirement not narrowly tailored to serve any legitimate government interest. Here we are. That's absolutely beautiful. And this is a public service announcement right here. Do not go beyond this sign because a slip from this treacherous area can be fatal. So I'd probably listen to them. Look how amazing this place is. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing, but look how much higher this one goes. You can't really see from this angle, but man, that's a tall waterfall right there. Tall waterfall. Absolutely beautiful. So up here by the falls, looking around, I'm not seeing much of any quartz at all, so I'm thinking up here is not gold bearing. I think the creek doesn't start shedding gold until you get quite a bit farther downstream. So, I mean, here is the first signs of hydrothermal activity here. Is these, that's a little tiny quartz stringer right there, but that's about as much as I've seen so far. So looking at the rocks down through here, it's a lot different than what I see in the gold belt. I don't see much of any quartz at all. I'm seeing mostly schists and gneisses and no quartz. So I really do not think that there's gold through here at all. At all. They got all kinds of signs that say to please stay on the trail for your safety. I'll have to agree with that. For your safety, you might want to stay on the trail, but environmental protection, what are we going to mess up by walking through here? Absolutely nothing. This sign right here that our government put up is complete and total nonsense except for that part right there, the safety. Check out that little whirlpool right there. I bet you there's a boil hole right there. If this was gold bearing, that would be a nice place to check. But once again, no quartz whatsoever. None. Where's the quartz? So this is interesting right here. We've got these two different pieces of bedrock here, and then right in the middle, there's some type of intrusion right there, and I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't look like quartz from here. If it was quartz, it's super oxidized, but I don't know what that is. It's kind of, I mean, it's obviously formed at a separate time than the two rocks around it.
It's weird looking.
It is weird looking. Okay, as we're getting down the hill a little bit, we're seeing more evidence here. I mean, that's a little quartz vein right there, or quartz stringer, whatever you call it. And there is some iron. There is a little bit of iron in these stringers here, so we might be getting down into it. Oh, look at this. Little rookie just pointed that out. Oh yeah, so we got multiple stringers here, and there is iron leaching. Look at that. There is iron.
There's one above your head.
One above my head too? Oh, sure enough. With that big spot, look at that. Okay guys, we might be getting into some areas that could be having some gold bearing situations going on, but let's see if we can get it to focus on that. What kind of spider is that? I don't want to mess with him. Oh, there's another one on the other wall too. Nice. Okay, here I've got some grievances with my government to redress. This is such a ridiculous notion that going on a little hike on the trail is going to have a huge environmental impact. So that's crazy. Here's another public service announcement that we are gathering content for this story at Anaruby Falls. Don't touch these plants that are alongside the trail because they'll give you a rash. That's poison ivy. All right, here's our tax dollars at work on this informative sign about geology at the Anaruby Falls scenic area. So let's see. The mountains around you are part of the Blue Ridge, which runs from Virginia through North and South Carolina into Georgia. The geology here is ancient and complex. About 300 million years ago, remember I said that? Yeah. Continental plates collided, so that's when Georgia collided with like Ireland, buckling the Earth's surface and creating mountains. Erosion has reduced the once massive mountains to their present form.
Yay!
That looks like a valid use of tax dollars. Look what these bad humans did, throwing their trash all over in the national forest. So public service announcement, don't throw your trash in the national forest. Some valuable information to share with the public. So they want your feedback about your visit. So if you ever come here, make sure you go and leave a comment card and let them know if you think this was a good use of your tax dollars. And also make sure you do this responsibly. It says stick to the trails, but yeah, I don't know, I've got a grievance with that one. Leave no trace, I agree. Respect wildlife, I agree. Pack it in, pack it out, I agree. That's why we're taking other people's trash out. Respect other visitors, manage pets, and plan ahead. As we're walking down the trail here, we are keeping our eyes open to see if we see any good spots to get down here and do some pans. You see that little gravel bar right there? None of those rocks look like quartz. And so to me, that's not a good sign for being a gold-bearing area. Now that we're downstream, finally seeing some quartz. So this might be where it first starts to happen. We won't know until we go in there and do some test pans, but there's not a ton of quartz, but there is some. There is some, as opposed to where we were before, there's basically none. So let's go ahead and go down here and take a pan. So another public service announcement is related to gold panning itself. So there's different rules for gold panning in the National Forest compared to other places. One of which is right here, the shovel. You cannot use a full-size, long-handed shovel in the National Forest. That specifically is against the rules. The other rules state that you can pan only in the National Forest. You can't use a sluice box, and you certainly can't use any kind of mechanized equipment at all whatsoever. But we're gonna find out if there's a gold-bearing area here at Smith Creek downstream from Anaruby Falls or not. That way, if you come here to visit, you'll know whether or not it's worth your time to look for gold. So I'm actually on the little trail, not very far downstream from the falls. And I'm gonna go ahead and you look through here, there's some quartz rocks kind of throughout. So a little bit of iron staining on them. I don't know. Let's go ahead and use our little dinky shovel and get a test pan. Okay, where we're gonna try first is we got some big rocks over here. So I'm gonna see if I can fill up my pan where these big rocks are, get us a full pan and pan it out and find out if there's any gold. What's that? You got the little one for me? Thank you. Yeah, there's little bits of broken quartz in there. Let's find out if there's any black sand. So far I don't see black sand. But I do see what looks like little garnets, possibly. Yeah, I don't see much of any black sand at all, guys. No black sand at all. No black sand, but there is some pink sand. There is some pink sand. It's kind of like from, you see that? Looks kind of pink. So there might be some garnets in here, but let's go ahead and see if there's any gold. All right, let's go ahead and check carefully and see if we find any micro specks or anything. But as you can see, there's no black sand, just pink sand. So there are garnets here. What do we get, a little piece of lead maybe? A little piece of lead, but I don't even see one micro speck. Let's zoom in. Okay, I'm not seeing gold, but as you can tell, that pink sand is because of those nice, beautiful, clear red garnets right there. Look at those garnet chips right there, how red they are. I think we might have got a piece of lead right there. Let me pan it out. Okay, we got a nice shady spot so we can really zoom in and see if there's any micro specks. But that's a piece of lead right there. And I don't see anything even microscopic that looks yellow at all whatsoever. But I believe that's a hunk of lead. I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely metal because you see how it tapped to the front of the pan. But look over here, there's no black sand whatsoever, just garnet sand. So the final grievance I have with my government to redress is the gold panning rules in the National Forest. That's kind of silly. That was pretty difficult to even dig one pan with that little tiny shovel. I personally think the standard should be leave no trace. So if you want to come pan for gold in the National Forest, if it were up to me, how that would work is you clean up your mess and you make it look like you've never been here and everybody's cool, but that's not the case, and the gold panning laws here in the Chattahoochee National Forest are rough. All right, guys, before we head on out of here, there's one more grievance I have with my government here at the gift shop that we need to redress. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here I am on federal land. Somebody please tell me how this is narrowly tailored to serve any legitimate government interest and a gift shop in bear country. Oh wow, look at that.
Smells nice.
Look at those honeybees right there. Okay, that's another matter of public interest for us to gather content and distribute.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, look at the honeybees
Yay.
in full force in the National Forest in Georgia. All right, so now you know. There's no gold here at Smith Creek, right by Anaruby Falls. There's not even black sand. So that's another public service announcement for you. But today, I appreciate you guys for watching. We made several public service announcements. We redressed some grievances with our government, and we spoke freely. So, and I had a great time exercising my First Amendment rights. I really appreciate you hanging out with me during my news story today. And if you could go ahead and like that smash button, subscribe to the channel, consider hitting that join button to be a member for my members only content and my members only live streams. It helps support the channel as well. If you go to goldiswhereyouFindit.com and check out some of my merch there, every single purchase supports the channel. But I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you really soon.